By the time you turn 80, you could lose up to half of your total muscle mass. Yes, half. And for most people, this happens silently, without warning. No sharp pain, no loud signal, just a slow, quiet weakening of the body you've lived in your entire life. This condition, called sarcopenia, doesn't just steal your strength. It steals your independence, your ability to get out of a chair, to lift your groceries, to walk without fear of falling. It's one of the most devastating changes in aging. And most people don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. Each year, over 300,000 seniors are hospitalized because of falls directly linked to muscle weakness. Many of them never return home. They lose their freedom, their confidence, and sometimes even their lives. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this way. Even after 60, even into your 70s or 80s, you can still rebuild muscle. You can get stronger. You can regain stability, balance, and energy. And you don't need to become a gym rat or lift heavy weights to do it. You just need the right science-backed habits, done consistently, safely, and smart. In this series, titled Seniors, Do This One Thing Every Day to Rebuild Muscle Like You're 40 Again, we'll walk through 7 simple daily habits that have been proven to help seniors rebuild muscle mass, improve coordination, and regain a sense of control over their bodies. These are not fads. They are grounded in solid research and backed by real results. You'll learn why the timing of your protein matters more than the amount, how 60 seconds of cold water can send powerful muscle-protecting signals, how a few minutes of breathing can boost your neuromuscular coordination, and why one overlooked vitamin could be the reason you feel tired, slow, and weaker than you should. This isn't just about looking fit, it's about reclaiming your life. What if your muscles aren't gone? They're just waiting for you to speak the right language to wake them up again. If you or someone you love is over 60, don't miss this. Tap that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because what we share next could change how you move, how you feel, and how long you stay strong. Habit number 1 is the foundation of it all, and it's up next. Habit number 1, progressive resistance training. If there's one habit that could make you feel 20 years younger, in body, in balance, and in confidence, this is it. Progressive resistance training isn't about bodybuilding or lifting heavy weights. It's about gently and consistently challenging your muscles to stay alive, active, and alert. You see, as we age, our muscles don't just shrink, they stop receiving the signals that tell them to grow. Without those signals, they fade. But resistance training sends a clear message. You're still needed. And the best part? You can start no matter your age, even in your 70s, 80s, or beyond. What if your legs could regain the power to climb stairs with ease, not because of luck or genetics, but because of 30 minutes, twice a week? Progressive resistance training simply means gradually increasing the challenge on your muscles over time. This could be with light dumbbells, resistance bands, or even your own body weight. You don't need a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need consistency and the right mindset. Start with just 2 to 3 sessions per week, 20 to 30 minutes each. Focus on compound movements like squats, rows, chest presses, and sit-to-stand exercises. These target multiple muscle groups at once, saving you time while giving you more results. And remember, your goal is progress, not perfection. The magic lies in progressive overload. That's a fancy way of saying, add a little more over time, a little more weight, a few extra reps. Hold the position just a second longer. This gentle increase is what tells your body, I need you to stay strong. Why does this matter so much for seniors? Because resistance training doesn't just build muscle, it saves independence. It improves posture, protects joints, strengthens bones, and dramatically reduces fall risk. You'll walk taller, move steadier, and feel more in control of your body. In fact, a study from the University of Alabama found that seniors in their 70s who followed a 12-week resistance program gained an average of 3.3 pounds of lean muscle and increased their strength by 35%. That's without changing their diet or adding cardio, just resistance training. On the flip side, skipping this habit leads to muscle atrophy, the silent shrinking of your strength. Daily tasks become harder, your legs feel weaker, stairs seem steeper, and eventually, independence begins to slip away. But here's the truth, it's never too late to start. Even if you've never worked out a day in your life, your body can respond. The key is to start safely, progress slowly, and stay consistent. Use light weights or bands. Practice good form. Challenge yourself, but always with control. Your muscles are still listening. You just need to speak their language. Ready to rebuild from the ground up? In the next section, we'll unlock the power of protein and why when you eat it matters just as much as how much. You don't want to miss this. Habit number 2, optimize protein intake and timing. Most people assume that if they are eating enough food, they must also be eating enough protein. But for seniors, that assumption can be dangerously misleading. Many older adults are unknowingly losing muscle, not because they are eating too little, but because their protein intake is not timed or distributed properly throughout the day. As we age, our bodies naturally become less efficient at converting the protein we eat into usable muscle tissue. This phenomenon is known as anabolic resistance. In simple terms, it means that the same amount of protein that once helped build and repair muscle now has a much smaller effect. And if that protein is eaten all at once, especially late in the day, the body misses valuable opportunities to stimulate muscle growth earlier on. What if your muscle loss isn't from aging, but from skipping protein at breakfast? Scientific research has shown that the most effective way to combat this is by evenly spacing your protein intake across the day. Specifically, consuming approximately 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein with each main meal: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This approach activates muscle protein synthesis multiple times per day, which is your body's process of rebuilding and strengthening muscle fibers. The catch? This window of synthesis only lasts for a few hours after eating. So if you concentrate your protein into one large meal, you're missing at least 2 other critical chances to support your muscles. This means that starting your day with protein is no longer optional, it's essential. Instead of a breakfast of toast or fruit alone, you could begin with scrambled eggs, a protein smoothie with Greek yogurt, or even leftovers from a protein-rich dinner. At lunch, choosing dishes like grilled chicken, lentils, or tofu with vegetables can keep that protein signal going. And by dinner, your body gets one final opportunity to build and maintain strength through options like baked fish, beans, or lean turkey. What matters more than whether your food is plant-based or animal-based is whether you are hitting that consistent protein threshold across the entire day. One major study from the University of Texas found that seniors who distributed their protein evenly across all meals experienced 20 to 25% greater muscle-building response than those who ate the same total amount but only at lunch and dinner. It was not the quantity, but the timing that made the difference. Ignoring this habit leads to muscle loss, even if you are physically active and eating what seems like a healthy amount. Skipping protein at breakfast especially leaves your muscles undernourished at the start of the day, leading to weakness, slow recovery, and a feeling of fatigue that is often mistakenly blamed on aging. The good news is this strategy is simple to implement. Focus on hitting at least 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal. That could mean adding cottage cheese to your morning routine, choosing nuts and seeds as snacks, or incorporating a scoop of quality protein powder when needed. You do not have to overhaul your entire diet, just fine-tune it with consistency and purpose. Your muscles do not just need calories, they need the right signals delivered at the right time. When you give them that, they respond, they rebuild, and they support the life you want to live. In the next section, we'll unlock a secret that sounds strange but works wonders: cold showers, heat exposure, and even fasting. Curious? You should be. Let's talk about how small stressors make you stronger. Habit number 3, embrace hormetic stressors: cold, heat, fasting, isometrics. It might sound odd, but the key to aging stronger, not weaker, may lie in stress. Not the kind that keeps you up at night, but a special kind called hormetic stress. Tiny, controlled challenges that force your body to adapt, grow, and become more resilient. What if 30 seconds of cold water could trigger your body to protect your muscles better than most supplements? Hormetic stress works like this. Give your body a small, intentional challenge, and it responds by upgrading itself. These little stressors push your muscles, cells, and mitochondria, your body's energy factories, to become stronger. One of the simplest ways to introduce this concept into daily life is through cold exposure. Just ending your shower with 30 to 60 seconds of cold water can stimulate brown fat, fire up your metabolism, and increase adiponectin, a hormone that protects your muscles and boosts energy regulation. On the flip side, heat exposure, like using a sauna or soaking in a hot bath, encourages the production of heat shock proteins, which help repair muscle cells and prevent their breakdown. In fact, one study found that people who used the sauna regularly lost 40% less muscle over 10 years compared to those who didn't. That's an enormous payoff for such a simple habit. Intermittent fasting, also known as time-restricted eating, is another powerful hormetic stressor. By limiting your eating window to around 8 to 10 hours a day, you activate a process called autophagy, where your body clears out damaged components and regenerates stronger, healthier cells, including muscle cells. The Salk Institute discovered that this routine improved muscle mitochondrial function by 10% in just 12 weeks, even without weight loss. And then there's isometric training, the quiet powerhouse of strength. Imagine pressing your palms together or pushing against a wall with all your effort for 5 to 10 seconds. These static holds don't strain your joints, but they still send powerful signals to your muscles. Stay strong, stay active. Now, what happens if you ignore these gentle challenges? Over time, your mitochondria shrink, inflammation increases, energy wanes, and your muscles lose their responsiveness, even if you're eating well and staying somewhat active. Because without those subtle, repeated signals to grow, your body assumes it no longer needs to. The beauty of hormetic stressors is that they're simple, accessible, and require no equipment. You can finish your morning shower with a cold burst, soak in a warm bath 2 or 3 nights a week, shift breakfast a little later to extend your overnight fast, or squeeze in a few isometric holds while waiting for your tea to steep. Each small action sends a clear message to your body. I'm still here, I'm still adapting, and I'm not done getting stronger. In the next habit, we'll talk about 2 vitamins that could be silently sabotaging your strength or supercharging your recovery, depending on how you combine them. Don't miss it. Vitamin D and K2 could be the duo that keeps you upright, balanced, and energized. Habit number 4, balance vitamin D and vitamin K2. When most people think of muscle health, they rarely think of vitamins. And even when they do, the focus is usually on protein or calcium. But what if 2 specific vitamins, often overlooked and rarely discussed together, were silently determining whether your muscles stay strong or slowly deteriorate? This brings us to a powerful and necessary combination, vitamin D and vitamin K2. What if your vitamin D is making things worse, unless it's paired with this one missing nutrient? Vitamin D has earned its reputation as a crucial nutrient for bone health, but its role in muscle strength is equally vital. It activates key genes inside your muscle cells that influence growth, repair, and coordination. With optimal vitamin D levels, muscles contract more effectively, respond more quickly, and recover more efficiently. This leads to better balance, sharper reflexes, and a significantly reduced risk of falling, a top concern for seniors. However, as we get older, our ability to synthesize vitamin D from sunlight declines. By age 70 or 80, the skin can produce up to 50% less vitamin D than it did in younger years, even with the same sun exposure. Add to that the fact that many seniors spend more time indoors, and it becomes clear why vitamin D deficiency is so widespread. Over 80% of older adults are estimated to be deficient, which contributes directly to muscle weakness, fatigue, and instability. Getting enough vitamin D can start with sun exposure. Ideally, 15 to 20 minutes of midday sun on the arms and legs. But for many people, especially those living in northern climates or with limited mobility, supplementation becomes essential. The current recommended intake for seniors often falls short, with experts now suggesting 2,000 to 4,000 international units per day of vitamin D3, adjusted based on individual blood levels. A simple test can help identify deficiencies and guide your dosage. But here's where most people miss the mark. Vitamin D increases calcium absorption, which is excellent for bones. But without proper direction, that calcium can end up in your arteries instead of your skeleton. That is where vitamin K2 comes in. Acting like a traffic director, vitamin K2 ensures that calcium is deposited into bones and teeth, not soft tissues or arteries, where it can lead to stiffness, poor circulation, and increased risk of heart disease. Vitamin K2 works by activating a protein called osteocalcin, which binds calcium to the bone matrix, and another called matrix GLA protein, which prevents calcium from building up in arteries. Without enough K2, all that calcium enhanced by vitamin D can end up in the wrong place. This makes balancing these two nutrients essential. They are a team, not solo performers. You can find vitamin K2 in fermented foods like natto, a traditional Japanese soybean dish, aged cheeses, egg yolks, and liver. Among supplements, the most effective form is known as MK7, which stays in the body longer and has been shown to significantly improve bone density and cardiovascular health when combined with vitamin D. If you have been taking vitamin D supplements without K2, it is not too late to rebalance. Introducing K2 can help redirect calcium to where it belongs, support your muscle performance, and lower risks tied to arterial calcification. Common symptoms of imbalance include fatigue, leg cramps, poor coordination, and even frequent stumbling. In the long term, deficiency can increase the risk of osteoporosis and cardiovascular problems. In fact, a study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found that seniors with optimal vitamin D levels had 25% greater muscle strength than those who were deficient, and they demonstrated significantly better balance and coordination. But the benefits were most pronounced in those who also had sufficient vitamin K2. In short, strong muscles do not stand alone. They rely on structural integrity from the bones and proper nutrient delivery from the circulatory system. Vitamins D and K2 form a powerful partnership that supports both. If you want to move confidently, avoid falls, and rebuild your strength from the inside out, start by getting your vitamin D levels tested and ensuring your daily intake is paired with enough K2. Together, they help you stay upright, balanced, and strong in ways you can feel every single day. In the next part, we will explore a group of tiny nutrients that most people forget, but they can quietly make or break your progress. Let's talk about magnesium, creatine, B12, and the trace minerals your muscles crave to come back alive. Habit number 5, boost essential micronutrients. Even if you are exercising regularly, eating well, and getting enough protein, your muscles might still be struggling. Why? Because micronutrient deficiencies, the kind you cannot see or feel until it is too late, may be quietly chipping away at your strength every day. What if your weakness has nothing to do with aging and everything to do with one missing mineral? Micronutrients are the overlooked foundation of muscular health. They support energy production, nerve function, oxygen delivery, and recovery. Without them, the engine that powers your body begins to stall. Among the most crucial of these is magnesium, a mineral involved in over 300 biological processes. It helps regulate muscle contraction, prevents cramps, supports ATP production, the primary energy source for your cells, and aids in nerve signal transmission. Yet more than 70% of seniors are deficient, often due to medication interactions, digestive changes, or poor dietary intake. Magnesium-rich foods include leafy greens, seeds, nuts, legumes, and whole grains, but supplementation may be necessary in some cases, especially in the form of magnesium glycinate or citrate, which are more bioavailable. Another unsung hero is creatine, often associated with athletes, but powerfully effective for seniors. Creatine helps store and supply quick bursts of energy for muscle contraction. Research has shown that older adults who supplemented with creatine, about 3 to 5 grams per day, not only gained muscle and strength, but also improved cognitive function. In one study from McMaster University, participants saw measurable improvements in both physical and mental performance after just a few weeks of use. Then there is vitamin B12, a critical nutrient for nerve health and red blood cell production. A deficiency can lead to numbness, tingling, muscle weakness, and poor coordination, especially in the legs and feet. Many seniors develop absorption issues due to reduced stomach acid or medications like proton pump inhibitors. Foods like eggs, fish, dairy, and fortified cereals can help, but in some cases, a methylated B12 supplement or even injections may be necessary to restore levels and improve function. Do not overlook the power of trace minerals either, including zinc, selenium, and chromium. These are involved in protein synthesis, immune health, and insulin sensitivity, all of which support muscle repair and energy usage. Zinc helps regulate muscle-building enzymes. Selenium acts as an antioxidant, protecting muscles from oxidative stress. Chromium enhances how your body transports nutrients into cells, improving fuel usage and endurance. Found in seafood, eggs, seeds, and whole grains, these minerals are small in quantity but immense in impact. The downside of deficiency? Muscles that feel heavy and slow, cramps that wake you at night, fatigue that seems out of proportion to your activity, and a frustrating sense that you are doing all the right things, yet seeing little progress. The truth is, micronutrients are the spark plugs of muscular function. Without them, nothing runs smoothly. Thankfully, you do not need dozens of pills, just a few smart additions to your meals: spinach, pumpkin seeds, almonds, eggs, and possibly a well-chosen supplement regimen guided by your doctor or dietitian can bring these crucial elements back into balance. A study from Tufts University found that seniors with healthy levels of key micronutrients preserved up to 22% more muscle mass over time, even without changes to exercise or protein intake. That is the power of working with your body's cellular needs instead of against them. Up next, we dive into the communication line between your brain and your muscles. If you have ever stumbled, hesitated to move, or felt slow to react, you'll want to hear how to rebuild your neuromuscular wiring and take control of movement again. Habit number 6, strengthen neuromuscular connections. You can lift weights, you can eat protein, you can take your vitamins, but if your brain and your muscles aren't speaking the same language, everything else falls apart. This is where the most overlooked element of muscular health comes in, your neuromuscular connection. What if your legs feel slow, not because they're weak, but because your brain's signals aren't getting through? Your neuromuscular system is the internal communication line that tells your muscles when and how to move. Think of it like a command center. Your brain sends the instructions, and your muscles execute them. But as you age, these communication lines begin to fray. The messages get delayed. The responses become slower. And suddenly, you notice yourself stumbling more often, hesitating to move, or feeling clumsy doing things that used to be second nature. This breakdown doesn't always come from the muscles themselves. It often begins with reduced signaling efficiency at the neuromuscular junction, the space where nerve meets muscle. When this area weakens, your muscles may still be capable of strength, but they are no longer receiving commands effectively. The result is slower reaction time, poorer balance, and increased fall risk. But the good news? These connections can be strengthened again. One of the best ways is through coordinated movement practices, activities that require your brain and body to work together in real time. Exercises like Tai Chi, dance, or even casual sports like ping pong challenge your balance, timing, rhythm, and motor memory. They don't just build strength, they enhance the flow of information between your brain and muscles. In fact, research published in the Journal of Physiology showed that older adults who engaged in these coordination-based movements improved their balance and walking speed more than those who focused only on traditional strength exercises. Aside from movement, certain nutrients can also support this delicate system. Vitamin B1, particularly in the form of benfotiamine, is vital for producing acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that tells your muscles to contract. Without enough of it, you may experience twitching, delayed responses, or even muscle weakness. Whole grains, seeds, pork, and legumes are good sources, but many seniors benefit from targeted supplementation. Another surprisingly effective practice is controlled breathing, such as box breathing, where you inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold again for 4. This activates the vagus nerve, which plays a role in calming the nervous system and improving coordination. Practicing it before a workout or even during moments of mental fog can help sharpen focus and restore control over physical movement. Ignoring this aspect of strength can lead to serious consequences: unsteady hands, unstable feet, and a sense of disconnect between your mind and body. But rebuilding these pathways gives you back something more than strength. It gives you confidence. The confidence to move without fear. The confidence to catch yourself when you stumble. the confidence to trust your body again. Your brain and your muscles are still connected. They just need to be reminded how to work together. And when they do, the transformation is unmistakable. Our final habit addresses a silent enemy that works behind the scenes: chronic inflammation. If you've ever felt like you're aging faster than you should, this might be the reason, and we'll show you exactly how to fight back. Habit number 7, control chronic inflammation, inflammaging. You've heard the saying, age is just a number, but what if the real issue isn't the years? It's the silent inflammation building up inside your body over time. This quiet internal fire is now known by researchers as inflammaging, and it could be the hidden force weakening your muscles, stiffening your joints, and draining your energy, even when everything else seems under control. What if the reason your muscles aren't bouncing back isn't your age, but inflammation smoldering just beneath the surface? Chronic, low-grade inflammation is different from the sharp, temporary kind you get with an injury or infection. It doesn't cause swelling or fever. Instead, it slowly damages tissues, including muscle fibers, mitochondria, and nerves, reducing your body's ability to repair and regenerate. Over time, this accelerates sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, raises your risk of falls, and makes recovery from exercise or injury painfully slow. The most frustrating part? You can be doing everything else right: exercising, eating protein, taking your vitamins, but if inflammation is not addressed, your progress can feel stuck. Fortunately, it's not just treatable, it's reversible with a few powerful lifestyle changes. The first, and perhaps most underrated, is quality sleep. During deep sleep, your body turns off inflammatory signals and activates cellular repair. But if your sleep is broken or insufficient, studies show inflammation markers can rise by up to 40%. That means making sleep a non-negotiable part of your strength routine. Aim for 7 to 8 hours in a dark, quiet room, avoiding screens before bed, and maintaining a consistent sleep-wake cycle. Next, focus on feeding your microbiome, the trillions of bacteria in your gut that regulate not just digestion, but immune function and inflammation. The key is variety. Aim to eat at least 30 different plant-based foods per week. This includes not just fruits and vegetables, but whole grains, legumes, seeds, nuts, herbs, and spices. Diversity feeds good bacteria, which then produce short-chain fatty acids that lower inflammation throughout the body. Equally important are fermented foods, natural sources of probiotics that strengthen your gut lining and calm immune overactivity. A spoonful of sauerkraut, a bowl of miso soup, a serving of kefir or yogurt daily can make a measurable difference. These foods don't just help digestion, they regulate inflammation at the root. There are also hidden sources of inflammation worth reducing. These include excessive sugar and ultra-processed foods, chronic stress, and environmental toxins. You don't have to be perfect, but becoming mindful of these inputs and choosing whole, unprocessed foods when possible helps your body shift from survival mode into healing. When inflammation is under control, everything works better. Muscles repair faster, energy returns, joints feel freer, and the exercises, meals, and supplements you've already committed to start delivering the results they're supposed to. A groundbreaking study from Tufts University found that seniors with the lowest markers of chronic inflammation retained significantly more muscle mass and functional strength than those with high inflammation, regardless of activity level. In other words, fighting inflammation doesn't just make you feel better, it protects your independence. The takeaway? Don't let chronic inflammation quietly sabotage your efforts. Let sleep become sacred. Let your gut become your ally, and let your food be the frontline defense. Because a body at peace on the inside becomes a body that's strong, stable, and ready to thrive on the outside. Now that you've learned all 7 powerful habits, it's time to put them into action. In the next and final section, we'll bring it all together into a daily rhythm, so you can build muscle like you're 40 again, starting today. You've come a long way through science, habit, and strategy, and now it's time to put it all together. Because knowing how to rebuild muscle after 60 is powerful, but doing it daily with intention and consistency is what changes everything. What if tomorrow you woke up not wondering, can I stay strong as I age, but knowing exactly how to do it? Let's turn this knowledge into a rhythm. Your morning starts with movement. It can be as simple as 5 minutes of stretching, a short isometric hold, or even a brisk walk. Follow it with a protein-rich breakfast: eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or a smoothie with protein powder. And don't forget the micronutrients: a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds, a handful of leafy greens, or your daily magnesium or B12 supplement. As the day progresses, you feed your muscles again: lunch with legumes, lean protein, or tofu, paired with colorful vegetables and fermented foods like kimchi or sauerkraut. You pause for breathing, maybe a box breathing session before a walk or light resistance workout. You stay hydrated. You move again. Even just walking around the house counts. In the afternoon or evening, you expose your body to hormetic stress, perhaps a warm bath or a minute of cool water after your shower. You wrap up the day with a balanced dinner, protein again, paired with whole grains and dark greens rich in vitamin K2. Then you sleep, deeply, intentionally, giving your body the precious time it needs to recover and rebuild. You don't need to do it all at once. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent, because the body listens. It adapts, it builds, at any age. We've covered 7 daily habits: progressive resistance training, smart protein timing, hormetic stressors like cold, heat, fasting, and isometrics, balancing vitamin D and K2, replenishing essential micronutrients, strengthening brain-muscle communication, reducing chronic inflammation. Each one is powerful on its own. Together, they create a momentum that not only rebuilds muscle, but restores confidence, independence, and joy. You're not too old. You're not too late. Your body is waiting for the right inputs. Starting today, give it the signal. Rebuild, strengthen, stand taller in every sense. You are not just aging, you are evolving, and you have the tools to do it with strength. If this message inspired you, take one step today. Share this with someone you love. Comment with the habit you'll start first. Subscribe so you don't miss the next guide. And most importantly, believe in your body again. It's never too late to grow stronger.